Children's rights.
Children's rights. Children's rights.
By not expecting children to work at such a young age, they have opportunities to grow in creativity and also get foundations of good well-being as human beings on the planet. And also, it's just really awesome to be a kid.
I think it's the reason that we have such a highly educated country. I mean, if you imagine having to go to work when you're 5 or 6 years old, that's what you do for the rest of your life, is you work and you don't go to school and learn how to read or write.
In United States history, children had very little rights.
For hundreds of years, they were forced into hard labor with no voice. Until the last 100 years or so, children had no rights.
While working in sweatshops, farms, and other facilities, large companies often looked upon children as lower, less knowledgeable, manageable, cheaper, less likely to strike, and unable to retaliate. They were to help out their families and were an extra way to earn money.
What does Batman get in his drinks? Just ice.
The reason for most of the children's rights movements was the fact that children were being killed, injured, or becoming ill because of poor safety, health standards, and working arrangements. If a child died, they could replace him. Parents were selling their kids for money. One child was sold for $2 by his parents.
Of the children's right movement were to give attention to minors and show that they need protection and care, as well as the basic needs for food, education, healthcare, and criminal laws appropriate for the age and development of the child.
Over the years of children's fight for freedom, there were many important activists. For example, Lewis Hine, whose photographs helped with child labor laws, Julia Lathrop, who was the Children's Bureau Director, and Marian Wright Edelman, who led the Children's Defense Fund.
That was a joke. Knock knock. Who's there? Britney Spears. Britney Spears too. Knock knock. Who's there? Oops, I did it again.
Lewis Hine was a photographer who was known for his photography of child labor. He was a teacher of botany and nature sciences at the Ethical Culture School in New York. The head of the school gave him a camera. The camera was said to be a powerful means of recording social injustice and labor issues. In 1905, he began his first documentary series. In 1908, he became an investigator for the National Child Labor Committee. He would be able to gain access to the sweatshops and factories where children were employed. If he was able to gain access, he would photograph them at work. He gained access by posing as an insurance agent, Bible salesman, postcard seller, or industrial photographer. He would get information from them, including their living conditions, the circumstances under which they were forced to work, and their name and age. If he was unable to gain access, he would photograph them from outside going into work.
Julia Clifford Lathrop was born on June 29, 1858, and died on April 15, 1932. She was an American social welfare worker who was the first director of the U.S. Children's Bureau. Her father was a well-known lawyer who was close friends with Abraham Lincoln, and her mother was a suffragist active in women's rights activities. Later in her life, she worked as a secretary in her father's office and then joined the U.S. Children's Bureau.
Marian Wright Edelman was an advocate for disadvantaged Americans. She was the founder and president of the Children's Defense Fund. She founded the Children's Defense Fund in 1973, and it is strong to this day. She was born on June 6, 1939. Throughout her life, she collected many awards, like the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the MacArthur Fellowship, and the Albert Schweitzer Prize for Humanitarianism. She attended Marlborough Training High School in Bennettsville and went on to Spelman College, then finally Yale Law School. She once said, "Being considerate of others will take your children further in life than any other college degree."
More than half the children who lived in female-headed families are poor, which makes up 53% of overall poor families.
Almost 5 children die every day as a result of child abuse. More than 3 out of the 4 are under the age of 4. 1/5 of children have no health insurance coverage.
22,000 children are killed at work every year.